just like a quick biography of the firm and then I guess of your career? I mean, I kind of know this, but.
Yeah, we specialize in schools, but we've done specialized in museums and centers for the arts. And for a while there, almost by default, some resorts. So that's the kind of bio. The international project we've done a resort center in Mexico. That was a project that, and this will feed into the other questions, went through schematics and did not get built. We did a $1 million+ square foot resort in Morocco that went through schematic design and did not get built. When I worked for Antoine Predock, we did a hotel for Disney in France that did get built, and then I've done 2 community centers in Romania that did get built, and then I did an apartment in Moscow Red Square that did get built.
Cool.
So, but that's the extent of it. I haven't done anything in Asia, although I understand things end up being almost the same in a lot of ways.
Probably.
So, okay.
So were those all through your current practice, or were
Yeah,
those...
the only one that was Antoine Predock, because I ran his office for a while out of school, and that was the resort in Morocco.
Okay.
Where did you go to school?
Arizona State.
Arizona.
So
Oh boy,
it was a foil just to work for Antoine.
Yeah.
So I worked full time for him while I was in school. So
Oh, cool.
I remember a lot of graduate school.
Yeah.
It's kind of my graduate education. So.
What were some of the challenges, I guess, of the projects that didn't get built? Were there any specific, like, I guess, reasons for those, or was it just purely financial, or?
No, yeah, the finances switch and change. It was kind of the political dynamics that you had to be really cognizant of. Working internationally, I think projects have a little more fluidity about them. Players change a lot, and that's what you have to guard against. Almost having to guard your position. The politics are very, very different. Most of the projects that we don't get built here really end up because of finances. Over there it can be finances, but it's very complex. There's usually a lot of other things. Often an American architect will come in for schematics. You know, they'll bring you under the guise of, you know, you're going to do the whole 9 yards, and you'll associate with a local firm, which I think you definitely want to do, just for a whole world of reasons. But the politics are quite interesting.
Especially in Mexico, because isn't it really deep?
Yeah, I mean,
rooted and
I've had a couple projects that I've actually been asked to do in Mexico, and then they seem to just fizzle, and what will happen is they'll use you for as much as they can, and then it'll go to somebody's, you know, brother or buddy. It's kind of an old story. I know the project for Disney in Paris, I know that Antoine spent a lot of time negotiating that thing in a lot of ways. We were hired by Disney, so it was going to happen that way. But even Disney's finances, we did another one for Disney at the same time in Florida, and they shifted all their money, just no warning. They just killed all those projects in Florida because Euro Disney came, and so that shifted things as well.
When you said that the players change quite often, you said you had to guard yourself. Could you be
as best you can. I mean, you really have no control over all that stuff.
How do you go about guarding yourself exactly?
You just kind of pay attention. For example, if you work with an associate architect, and fortunately just from my early experience with Antoine, we knew to do this. But the project in Russia, the 2 in Romania, even though we were hired directly, you associate with a firm there. It's usually required by law. I don't know how that has lightened up over time, but that associate architect, you've got to be very careful who you hire. You need to hire someone appropriate to be able to do your working drawings and get through the municipalities, the entitlements. But what will normally happen is you will watch yourself get sabotaged so that they can take the project over. Now, I do know that that happens here too a lot. There's evidence of that everywhere, even here in Denver. So
Really?
it's just, but it's over there something you just got to really watch for because it's inherently set up that way.
You talk about political issues, especially, you know, in Mexico, you know, they take you in and kind of hang on for you. Have you ever run into, besides politically and economically, have you ever run into like cultural or religious disputes at all? Like where you're building, have, you know, the people who live there, have they been upset with you building there or anything like that? I know that's very
No,
far-fetched,
and
but-
I've had that here more.
Mhm.
I've had that here much more than I actually have it over there. I know it exists, but no, I don't think I've had the kind of projects that are
kind of an
kind of that
upheaval.
way. Yeah, they've been very commercial,
Okay.
almost privately funded. I think if I did a governmental project over there, it would probably have a little bit more of probably an impact. So, it's a good question.
When you work with other firms or when you know, how would you guys negotiate payments and stuff? Would they pay you in their currency or in American currency?
Everything's translated to USD, and
Okay.
you can agree on an exchange rate if it's a short period of time, and you want to agree on the exchange rate revolving like every 6 months because your likelihood of still being there after 6 months is, I think, very tenuous. And you negotiate to get paid up front as much as possible. You know, the idea of them giving you a retainer just almost never happens, is what I understand. And we haven't had to use one, but we almost did on the larger project is there are American negotiation firms, mostly located Pacific Rim, they're all in LA, a few in Seattle, and the rest of them are basically in Manhattan, who will negotiate that stuff for you because it is tricky waters and the contracts are highly obscure, and you got to figure out which ones work and which ones don't, what clauses will trap you and which ones won't, and to do that you really have to have a handle on their judicial system, their legal system, their tort system. So we were fortunate that they did an altered AIA contract almost by our insistence. But I do know for larger projects and different projects, a lot of firms have to end up it's just one more thing you have to pay for. And of course you have to pay for it.